James goes too far. It was a crisp cold day on the island of Sodor, but the engines were still at work. James was waiting with the slow goods train when Percy puffed up. They were both waiting at a signal. "Hello, James," said Percy. Then his signal turned green. "Bye, James," said Percy, and he was off in a flash. "I was here first. Why should I have to wait?" said James. "The mail train's more important than the slow goods," said his driver. Later, James was waiting at a water tower. He was behind Thomas. "I have to go first," said Thomas. "I'm a guaranteed connection after all. Everyone is important engine but me," said James. "Nonsense," said Thomas. "Everyone knows you're a really useful engine." But James wanted to be a really important engine as well. "But how?" he said to himself. Later that day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see James. "You must take coal around the island to all the stations. If the fires go out in the waiting rooms, the passengers will get cold and complain. It is a very important job," he added. "You can rely on me, sir," said James. The fat controller drove away, with a very excited James waiting in the sheds. "An important job," he said. "Huh!" said Gordon. "It's only a load of coal," he said. "Nonsense," said James. "I have the most important job on the island. I have to keep all the passengers warm, not listen to silly big engines like you," and he puffed away. He went to the water tower, but there was a long line there. "Come on," he said. "I have an important job to do." "Wait your turn, bossy boiler," said Thomas. "I have no time to wait," said James. And he didn't. James raced to the coaling plant. Then he came across Edward, who was waiting at a junction. He had too many jobs, and he was running late. "Can you help me to the water tower?" said Edward. "Sorry, Edward, but I can't. I have the most important job on the island." Edward watched James puff away. Soon, James arrived at the coaling plant. After a lot of shunting, he buffered up to his coal cars, and he steamed away. James puffed happily across the islands, delivering coal. "What a beautiful frosty morning," he said, as he crossed the seaside. Then there was trouble. James started to go slower and slower. He puffed harder and harder, but he just ran hotter and hotter. "I don't feel well," he said to himself, and he had to come to a halt. "Your water tank had run dry," said his driver. "I'll have to wait for help." James waited sadly, but Edward puffed up soon. "Please help me with the water tank," he said. "I'm sorry," said Edward. You wouldn't help me. You wouldn't take my freight cars, and now I'm running late with my passenger train." And he puffed sadly away, leaving a very disappointed James behind. Luckily, Edward passed the signal box and warned the signalman about James. The signalman raised the alarm, and soon Salty came to help James. He pulled up alongside. "Why didn't you fill up with water this morning, matey?" he said. James told him all about the water tower. "I was too busy to help Edward too," said Salty. "I was in a hurry," said James. "I have the most important job on the island." "That job is more important than helping another engine," said Salty. And deep down in his spoilers, James knew Salty was right. Thanks to Salty, James was full of water and he was on his way again. He had to make up the lost time. Then he came across Diesel, who was broken down. Black smoke billowed from his engine. James wanted to tease Diesel, but then he remembered what Salty said. No job is more important than helping another engine, he said. Even Diesel was his engine. Come on, Diesel, I'll help you back to the sheds, he said. James wasn't a very strong engine, and pulling Diesel in coal trucks was hard work. But he managed to help Diesel to the workshop. But his job wasn't over. He had to deliver the coal. He puffed faster and faster along the lands. It was getting colder and colder, but James delivered all the coal to the stations. And before long, every station on the island had a warm, toasty fire. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt came to see James. He had heard all about his incident. I'm very sorry, sir, said James. I put my own job first before anyone else, but you helped Diesel and you did your job correctly. And you delivered your coal trucks on time. You, James, are a very useful engine. James knew he was very happy, but he knew he was even more important.